Hi, I'm Dr. Jeffrey Fannin. I'm a neuroscientist, and I want to share with you today some very important information and tips about how you can deal with stressors in your life. You know, we all have stress. Stress is a very natural part of life, and some of us deal with it pretty well, and some of us don't. So I guess I'm really talking to those people who have stress and they feel like they're burning the candle at both ends and aren't quite sure what to do about it. So there are many things that people are looking for. One of them is that they want to feel relaxed. They want to feel more joy in life. They want to feel more happiness. They want to have those things that they enjoy to do and have passionate about, and not feel so stressed where they might, many people get sick as a result of stress. We know that there are many diseases, over 200 diseases are related directly to stress. And we can deal with some of those things in a very different way and how we respond to that. We'll talk about that in a few minutes. A lot of people develop very bad habits. Eating is probably the biggest one of those, where we don't eat quite right, and then it begins to affect the cells in our body and things like that. So we'll talk about that, how we can measure that and take a look at what is happening within the cells of your body and how that's affecting your daily life, and get rid of some of those weight gain problems that we all may tend to deal with because we've adopted bad habits. Another bad habit is dealing with distractions, those distractions that come along, or we will, as I call it, hiding behind our shield. And so we might watch a lot of television, we do other things, we'll do anything but what we're supposed to do in dealing with our stress. And I want to talk about how that can be resolved for you, and you can get more passion, more enjoyment out of life and the things that you really would like to be able to do, and develop a new you, if you will, a 2.0 version of yourself. A lot of people want to be able to control the negative thinking, and that is possible. You can train your brain in order to deal with some of those things. Understanding the condition of the brain is very important. So brain mapping, and a lot of people don't even understand what brain mapping is, but it's being able to put a cap on the head, then be able to put electromagnetic gel down through the sensors onto the scalp, and allow the information that's being transmitted from the brain and turn that into some signals. So basically we're talking about an electroencephalogram, an EEG. So once that's recorded, then I can take that information and turn it into what's known as a QEEG, a quantitative electroencephalogram, and look at the patterns and see what's going on in the brain, so I can tell a number of different things. But a brain map is very important in being able to understand where are you and what's going on in your brain, so that you can be in better control of your thoughts instead of the tail wagging the dog, so to speak. So, and your thoughts controlling what you're doing, what you're thinking, and you feel like you're in a prisoner based on your own thoughts. So those thoughts are how we create our own reality. We'll talk just briefly about those things. That's another video for another time. But I want to talk mainly about stress and how that affects us, how it affects our autonomic nervous system. There are essentially two parts to our autonomic nervous system. One is the sympathetic nervous system. So that ramps up the electromagnetic center around the heart, and we have an electromagnetic center around the brain. And so we're sending signals from the heart to the brain, and then the brain will produce those chemicals that we need to have so we can have emotions or feelings about those things. And some of them are good, some of them are not so good, but we have a full range of emotions, and we deal with those emotions every single day. This is about being able to train your brain so that the signals going from the heart to the brain and the brain to the heart are functioning with you in what we would call coherence. You know, in order for us to fully be able to create this 2.0 version of ourselves, we need to understand what the pathways in our cellular structure is. We have 600 million trillion cells in our body, And those cells must be dynamic. They must be able to work in harmony with one another in order to pass the energy and information from one cell to the next and be able to communicate. And we call that coherence. So coherence can be seen in a brain map, and understanding when a body is incoherent and when it has coherence and is able to transmit that in energy and information. So opening up those pathways is very, very important to understanding what activates that mechanism within our body to create coherence or harmony within the body. When we have coherence in our brain and our body, then we're able to be at calm, be at peace, and it contributes to making this 2.0 version of ourselves. You know, it's always good to have the information that you need so that you're making accurate decisions and good choices. So I want to acquaint you with one of the measures that I take in being able to help people understand more about their cognitive function, what's happening in the brain, what their cellular function looks like, and how that's also affecting their health and the things that go on. So we've understood a little bit about the autonomic nervous system and how those signals go from the electromagnetic center around the heart to the electromagnetic center around the brain. So it's important to know that we can measure some of these things and measure it accurately. So let me talk about what we call the neuro assessment.
Optimizing the health of the brain is the future of healthcare. Brain health is the gateway to produce optimal health for the entire body. The ability to measure, track, and improve brain function and key blood biomarkers has profound implications for your overall health. BrainSpan is revolutionizing preventive brain health by providing a complete blood profile that reflects both cellular health and systemic inflammation and connects these metrics to brain function. The assessment provides vital data and education as part of a routine wellness visit for the student, athlete, mom, or business professional, or can be used to assist with the management and prevention of many specific conditions, including those of the nervous, circulatory, musculoskeletal, or immune systems. Fundamentally, all chronic disease will benefit from first optimizing the metrics critical to brain-body health.
You know, a lot of people are very curious, how does this actually work? So here are the steps involved that actually make this work so that you can get correct information on your cells and how they're functioning, and on your brain, your memory, your capacity, all of that sort of thing.
You will receive a detailed nutritional profile that determines cellular and inflammatory health of the brain and body, and links these areas to specific aspects of cognitive function. Valid, precise, and actionable are the hallmarks of the BrainSpan report. The neural health assessment is simple yet thorough. It is generated from 2 brief steps activated from a small kit. 1. A patient-performed finger stick, providing a few droplets of blood on a card. And 2. A brief web-based cognitive function assessment on a touchscreen device. Within 2 to 3 days of processing, an electronic report is available that elegantly illustrates the status and relationships between nutrition, inflammation, and brain function. Specific information on the omega-3 index and the omega-6 omega-3 ratio, among other indices, help you avoid being in the dark when it comes to quality and quantity of specific dietary nutrients. The results of the cognitive function assessment are described to include the areas of attention, processing speed, and memory, linking them back to the nutritional metrics and specific lifestyle recommendations, making them more meaningful and motivating. A wellness summary is also provided so you can easily understand what your results really mean for you today and for your future if you don't take steps to improve it. Scores in the green year to year, you will improve total mind-body health and actually change the trajectory of cognitive decline over time, promoting a healthy, resilient life across your entire brain span. And this translates to an overall healthier lifespan.
You know, running out of gas or not having enough energy at the end of the day probably has a lot to do with your resilience. So what does that mean exactly? As we get stressed and we have these signals that go from our heart to our brain and our brain to our heart, And dealing with our autonomic nervous system that we talked about earlier, those signals going through our sympathetic nervous system are ramping things up, and it's causing us to be in a situation where we are no longer resilient. So let's talk a little bit about resilience and why that's a very important part of what you want to do in order to be able to deal with the daily stressors that come along.
Most people want to have more energy at the end of the day. How much resilience we have plays a big role in that. Resilience commonly is thought of as the ability to bounce back after a challenging situation, but a newer and broader definition has emerged. HeartMath defines resilience as the capacity to prepare for, recover from, and adapt in the face of stress, adversity, or challenge. When you are resilient, not only can you bounce back faster after challenging situations, but you also have more ability to avoid getting in those situations in the first place.
So I think you can see that resilience is a very important thing. It's a lot like going to the gym and working out, so working the muscle so it can get bigger and stronger. Resilience is the same thing. In order for us to deal with stress, to deal with the stressors in our life, whether it's work or family or some other reason that we're having a lot of stressors, we have to have enough resilience in order to combat that, to deal with it very effectively and not let the negative effects begin to wear down our health and the things that are going on in our world, so that we can find more passion, more joy in life and be able to partake of those things. You know, we've covered a number of very important topics in this demonstration. So you can see that many of the things we're talking about are measurable. They're also very fixable, allowing you to have more resilience and more ability to function in life, to improve where you are now. It's possible for everyone. And so this gives you some idea of what we go through in order to get that 2.0 version of yourself. So I hope this little demonstration has been informative for you, and thank you very much for being able to participate in this issue of Brain Talk. Thank you.